What up, everybody? Hey, it's the Lexit War Room, everybody, and here we are. It's Wednesday. It's magarific. It's a magarific day, everybody. We got brother A-Rod, brother Jesse, and we got the 43rd congressional candidate, Joe Collins, everybody. Look, I'm gonna tell you something quick introduction. This man is going against Maxine Waters, everybody. Wow,
crazy Maxine.
Hey, but anyways, go ahead, A-Rod.
Yeah, so we have a special guest. He's from California. Yes, like you said, he's going against Maxine Waters. You see him everywhere. He's everywhere. He's all over social media doing his things at rallies. He's not behind the scenes, not like Joe Biden. He's not hiding in a basement somewhere. He's on the front lines, and that's what we want to see, somebody that's talking to people. People I know actually know him, and they say he's a good dude, an honest guy, and somebody that you want running in LA in some of those districts. So, yeah, definitely blessed to meet you, brother. Blessed to finally ask you a couple questions about the district. So thank you for coming on. Go ahead, brother Jesse.
What's up, brother Joe? It's good to see you again. I've had the pleasure to meet you several times and hang out. I think the last time I seen you was at Pastor David from Lexit at his church. He came to a service with Pastor David. We were there chilling, so that was just cool. Just thank you for being on our show. Just let us know anything we could do to help out your campaign. We got to get crazy Maxine out of there. But let's go ahead and get this started and go ahead and ask him what first question, Nino.
Hey, Joe, I have to ask you. Everybody wants to know this. This is the first question I got to ask you. What are they drinking in the water over there, bro? That Maxine Waters is actually in power for so long. Why can't we get rid of her? Who's voting for this woman, bro? Can you explain to the people watching how has she held power so long, bro?
Well, I'll put it like this. Like, the reason why Maxine Waters has been in office for so long is because she's never had a candidate of quality run against her since like 1992, whenever she first got into office. Wow. And so she's been able to pull on the heartstrings of the people who live in the district, especially the black people who live in the district, by telling them that, you know, you're black and people don't care about you and you're Democrat and you're supposed to be poor. And people actually, like, if you've been told something for so long, you're being like conditioned to believe that these things are true. So there's a lot of people in the district who believe that they're supposed to be poor and nothing good is for them and that, you know, no one else cares about them. And so as long as she's able to pull on the emotions of the people who live in that district, she can constantly win over and over and over again. But we got a new challenger. You know, I've been in the Navy for 13 and a half years, you know, running for Congress, been across the United States, been across the world. And we know that what we see in South L.A. is not common. And so now that we're bringing this to the people's attention, that you don't have to be poor. Like, people actually do care about you regardless of your political party preference, regardless of your race, your ethnicity, your religious preference, your sexual preference. Like, people do care about you, and you don't have to be poor. And you can be free. You don't have to vote for Maxine Waters. So, I mean, basically, in a nutshell, that's the reason why she's able to get elected over and over and over again. And if you have no candidate of quality to run against, who are you going to pick? You're going to pick, you know, the devil that you know, vice, you know, the person that you don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's as simple as that. She has them, you know, basically under her spell, for lack of better words. That's awesome, man. Thank you for explaining that. Anyways, but yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead, brother Jesse.
Yeah. Well, we know that you're a veteran. You're a veteran and everything like that. So I wanted to ask you, brother Joe, what made you be a conservative? Like, did you grow up a conservative, or like, can you tell us a little bit about your past, like, about you?
Well, what drove me to be a conservative is, now, I grew up in a Democratic household, like a lot of other people did. Mom's a Democrat. Dad's is you know, he used to be independent, but he, you know, leans on the Democratic side, or whatever side best suits his interest. And, you know, grandparents are staunch Democrats. Nobody know why they're Democrats. They just Democrats because they heard someone say that this is who you're supposed to be. So whenever I joined the military back in 2004, my mentors used to tell me, you don't pick your political party because someone tells you to. You know, you do your research on the party and you find out what party best aligns with your values and what you want to ride for. And whenever I did the research on the Republican Party, I found that the Republican Party was started by black men. The Republican Party was for freedom. They were for growth and prosperity. They're for wealth. They're the anti-slavery party, and they fought for everyone's rights. And so for me, it was a no-brainer once I figured that out. And I know a lot of people talking about, well, the party switch, Democratic parties are for the black people, yada, yada, yada. It sounds good. But for me as a black man, it's about getting back to where we started. And if the Republican Party was started by black men, then it's only right that black men move back to the Republican Party. And also, they talk about, well, you have to be rich and white to be a Republican, and Democrats are for poor people. And I'm thinking, I'm not white, but I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. So the Democratic Party is not.
They don't always say that.
Everybody's always talking about, poor things with that poor mindset. What do I need to do to be wealthy? And although whenever I first started, some of the policies may not have affected me right then, but my thing is, what did I have to do in order to put myself in a position to be able to benefit from the policies and become wealthy?
Yeah, exactly. I noticed we do that a lot. A lot of people that we talk to is the same exact thing, that we just grow up thinking that we're Democrats automatic. I even know a lot of people, they just go down the line when they vote. They don't even know nothing about policies, about nothing, just going D, voting all the Democrats. And like how you said, that's the most important thing. That's what we're trying to do at Lexit, and that's what we're trying to do is by knowledge. That's what's getting them, is lack of knowledge. Because once we study the issues and we start doing our homework, that's when we start walking away. Because like me, that's exactly how I did. I was a Democrat, but I started doing my homework. I did on the Democrat Party, and I started seeing they started the KKK, Margaret Sanger, just everything. None of that stuff they don't talk about in schools or none of that kind of stuff. Once you, they don't want to hear none of that kind of stuff. So so we always encourage that to do your homework. Don't just follow that same old tired old narrative that they've been saying for the last 30 years, that that this for rich. Why, look at us, look at all these minorities right here, blacks, white, everything. So we're destroying that narrative. We're showing that that's fake, and it's not the same old Democrat Party. It ain't the same as when Kennedy in all those days. It's the whole time they're trying to push communism, socialism. Look at what they're doing right now. They're trying to keep us locked down. Just people just keep doing your homework.
Yeah. And I tell people this all the time. I said that the goals of the parties never changed. The only thing that changed is the name of the game, right? So where they went from publicly enslaving people, now they use public policy to enslave people. And I'll use this analogy right here. Let's take child support, right? Well, let's use child support as an issue. What they do, because in the slave days, they took the man and they pulled them out of the house. Right. And then they took the woman and they raped the woman, gave her a little bit of house, gave her a little food and whatever. And they said, but we'll give you this, but you can't have that man in the house. Right, the man got to be out in the field or he going to get whipped. You're going to sell him and all that stuff and put him in slavery. Right. And so what is child support? Child support is the exact same thing. Well, we're going to give you some food stamps and we're going to give you Section 8, but you can't have no man in the house. And if your man come around or he don't work, then we're going to put that dude in jail or he got to go to another state. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to give you this little house and you're going to stay right over here. So the game is still the same. The only difference is how they play it.
Yeah, hey, man, that's the truth, brother. Exactly. But go ahead, A-Rod.
No, you stole my next question, man. That was my next question for you was, and when I elaborate on that, like you said, the characters change. So we see that Maxine Waters always likes to use what Democrats always say, dependent on the government. Don't depend on God no more. Don't depend on yourself, like what you've done. You're a military man. What the message that you're pushing right now, how is the reception? How are people taking that when you're going out to the communities? Are they accepting it? Because I know that what Maxine Waters is basically pushing is, like you said, welfare and just being more dependent on the government. So when you were just explaining right now how you want to make them aware of what happened, how are they taking that? How are they receptive?
Well, you know, you always have people who want to live on the government. You know what I'm saying? You have people because they get their little government check, the SSI, and they think that they live in big because they don't really have bills. But then you got guys like us. You got guys who want to be entrepreneurs. We want to make our own way. We don't want the government interfering in our life because there's too many rules that come with it. And so I saw the last interviews that she did when she talked about, well, if you're doing rallies, mind you, we've been hosting rallies. Well, if you're doing rallies, you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, Martin Luther King rallied for stuff that he wanted. Malcolm X rallied for stuff that he wanted. So why can't we rally for stuff that we want? And she also made the other interview she did on the grill when she was like, well, you know, stay your ass at home and don't be out there socializing. But it's like, it's easy to say that when you have a $4 million mansion and you eating, $18 bars of ice cream and you got $10,000, pearls on with a $12,000 Versace dress on. It's easy to say that because you're not living in the conditions that you created for the people in our community. And so when you start waking people up to the fact that, she's rich. She's rich. It's easy. She still get $174,000 a year plus all these other benefits with her taxpayer money. It's easy to make those claims, to be a hypocrite and say, don't go outside, don't socialize, especially when she's 81 and she high risk, right? And you have people in the district world hustling is all we know so we can feed our families. We have to be out. We have to be socializing. Even if you have a 9-to-5 job, you're still a hustler, right? Because that 9-to-5, that business, that small business that you have is like a 9-to-5 job to everybody else. So when you cut the government off and you say, you can't run your 9-to-5 business, you know what I'm saying? And that's equivalent to a 9-to-5 job that somebody else has. You pretty much telling people like, you pretty much fired. You know what I'm saying? No. And so a lot of people are really getting irritated, and she's been able, like I said, to run her campaigns and stay in office based off talk. But how is talk right now in this situation that we in going to get money in yours and my pockets, going to feed senior citizens, going to take care of our homeless? How is that going to get small businesses back open? You know what I'm saying? And even though, I like President Trump, I think he's doing a great job, but we live in California. How far is $1,200 going to go? That's like 2 tanks of gas if you drive a truck. That's like a light bill if you're low income. That's like medical insurance if you a senior citizen, and that's nothing if you're homeless living on the streets except for some drugs and some more alcohol and stuff. So $1,200 is not helping people who live in California. So people are really getting tired of the message, stay at home, when she's getting all this money, but she's not giving back to the communities. So she's not being accepted well right now, and that's thanks to coronavirus. And, I'm going to give my condolences to everybody who has passed away from coronavirus, whether they have pre-existing conditions or they died legitimately from coronavirus. But this pandemic has been able to highlight the piss poor leadership that we have been seeing from these Democrats, from these politicians who claim to have our backs.
Right. No, bro, I totally agree with you. And, I applaud you because it takes a lot for somebody to run against somebody that they know that has held it down for a long time. And, like I said, I applaud you because a lot of people going through this situation we're going through right now, you are absolutely right. Unless you live in California, $1,200 doesn't go very far. It doesn't go far. I mean, price, first of all, wherever you live, if you live in a richer place, everything's more expensive there. So you may get more an hour there, but everything's twice as much. So here in California, it's not the same everywhere across the world. I'm happy that you're a man of your stature is running against her. So go ahead, brother Nino.
Yeah, I want to ask another question. What's up with the illegal voting? We see what they're doing in different states. Is California really as corrupt as we hear with the illegal voting and the illegal votes out there, Joe?
I'm gonna say this. I gotta kind of disagree.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because when we were running in the primary election, I actually went to go see how the ballots were counted. That's not to say that there are people who are not citizens who are voting. There are. It's a small percentage. But when you look at the way the whole ballot system is working, I think the biggest issue that we're having right now is that people are not voting.
Wow.
Yes,
people are not using their voice. So I'll tell you, like in Los Angeles, in the 43rd district, and this pretty much holds true for every single district. We have 750,000 people that live in the district, 757,000 people to be exact that live in the district. 403,000 people are actually registered to vote. The voter turnout was only 160,000 people.
Dang.
So the problem is not the ballot harvesting. It's not even the illegal votes. You know what I'm saying? The problem is people are not letting their voice be heard by actually coming out to vote. But they have no one to vote for. You know what I'm saying? So if I have to ask you, like, what's the food that you hate to eat? Name a food you hate to eat.
Man, I'm grateful. I eat everything, but let me see. Seafood. I don't like seafood.
Okay, so let's use seafood for example,
Okay.
right? You go to a restaurant and say, okay, so this is the only thing that we have to offer you. We're gonna offer you lobster, or we're gonna offer you shrimp. You don't like lobster or shrimp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna take my chances and not even put myself in that situation and not go. We'll figure it out next time.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? And then you have people who are like, well, I eat lobster all the time, so I'll go with lobster. And then you have people like, well, I had lobster last time, so let me try the shrimp.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the number of people who are not trying anything is greater than the number of people who are choosing the lobster or the shrimp.
And let me ask you this: how do you remedy that? That's the old age question. How do you remedy something like that, bro?
By getting people like y'all out here telling people that,
right,
you know, if you want your voices heard, you got to get involved in politics. You can't escape politics. If you got cracks in the road, guess who fixed that? Politicians. If you got lights that street lights that need to be fixed, guess who fixed that? Politicians. If you got poor education, you need more jobs, guess who fixed that? Politicians. So if you're not letting your voice be heard or clearly displaying your disgust with your public officials, then, whatever's been happening for a long time is going to continue to happen. So, guys like you guys who, and I'm going to tell you, it's unconventional to see, guys with long beards and tattoos or Hispanics or black guys, and I'm tatted up too, to see us actually, getting involved and saying like, nah, we don't want this no more. Changing the status quo, saying like, nah, you might be the average suit and tie dude, but that's not what we're looking for no more because you ain't worked out for us in a long time. So this dialogue that we're having now, the diversity that we're having now, getting people involved who would not ultimately are people who you would think to get involved in politics to change the narrative of what's been going on in our cities, because this is our city. We live here. It's more us than it is them. So
hey Joe, I gotta commend you, man. That you red pilling me right now. I mean, you hitting me with the facts. I mean, that's good stuff. I asked you how do you fix it, and I'm actually looking at the solution. Everybody, I'm looking at this is how you fix it. People like look, the brothers out there. I saw you, Joe. You're out there at the rallies. You're out there, putting in work. You ain't out there just sitting behind a keyboard, behind a computer screen. And guys, that's right, guys. Look, they say get out and vote. We need to get out and vote, everybody, and vote these wicked politicians, lying, hypocrite politicians out of office. Go ahead, Brother Jesse.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, that Maxine, she's to me, she's like the worst one. Like, the Democrats have pretty much their whole lineup. They're all terrible. You know what I mean? Schumer, Pelosi, all of them. But the top of my list, even past AOC, is Waters. She's to me the most worst, terrible, wicked, evil lady that I see. But I talked about with you backstage, but I wanted to ask you, did you ever meet her? Tell the little story that you were telling us a little while ago. It's pretty interesting.
So my story with Maxine Waters is when I got out the Navy at the end of 2017, and I got out to get involved in politics, and I also I was going to the VA hospital, so you got to do this post physical when you get out, and I found that I got a broken back. My spine is separated in two different places from when I was in Iraq. And so I'm trying to get my benefits sped up so I can get somewhere to live. I was actually homeless. I didn't have nowhere to live. I was sleeping in my truck at the lighthouse in Ranchos Palos Verdes. And so I was going to her office maybe for like 3 months. I took her flowers. I filled out internships. I tried to volunteer. But I never heard from Maxine Waters. And so every time I see Maxine or anybody on her staff, they actually walk the other way. Or if we got joint events that we're going to, they'll try to get there before I get there or wait till I leave in order to come. But I crossed paths with Maxine Waters one time, and I was at Washington High School at a veterans event, and I showed up on purpose because I knew she was going to be there. And she saw me, her staff saw me. They didn't even finish shaking hands with a veteran. They just walked the other way. And I'm a combat vet. You know what I'm saying? I got my medals, my ribbons, I'm decorated. So I mean, she doesn't cross my path.
See, that just goes to show her heart. You could just see it by looking at her and hear her when she speaks. All she talks is hate and racism and all that. But you said it yourself right there, brother. You told about her heart. Her heart is tore up. But that's why people need to vote for you, because we say it all the time. We need real people in it, like with Anna. And you grew up right there. That's your hood. You're not just a politician over there or whatever. Look at her. She's been in there 30 years and ain't done nothing, eh? you're right there from the hood. Imagine like that's what we're trying to pump up A-Rod to run. But look, A-Rod, he's tatted up, he's running. We need to get A-Rod in there too, man.
Look, I got too much. I got things to do.
Yeah, but yeah, man. But go ahead, A-Rod. Go ahead, and ask your question.
Okay, bro. So I have a question. I know that the area that you're in is a lot of Latinos. It's populated. A lot of Latinos that are there. So what are some of the things you're trying to do to reach out to the Latinos so that we can help you with, or something that you're doing? Because I know that a lot of Latinos right now, they're waking up, bro. They really are waking up. They're voting their values. I noticed that. Some are still stubborn, but at least they're lending an ear. They weren't doing that before. So what are some of the things you're doing to touch the Latino base there?
So I'll tell you like this, like I really don't discriminate, because when I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, you didn't have Black people unless you had Latinos. And so to me, it's just like family. So I reach out to the Latino community the same way I do to the Black communities. And I'll be honest, I'm proud to say right now that we just signed a deal so we can get advertising on 93.9, the reggaeton station and stuff like that. We got the Power 106 station like that, so we can be able to reach out to the Latino communities. I mean, getting involved with Lexit as well, you know, and for the biggest thing is just like coming up with programs, because like, you know, I know I mentioned this earlier, you know, behind the scenes, it seems, in my opinion, and from talking to people, it's like the Latino community is like in limbo when it comes to America. I'm gonna be honest with you, like Latinos kind of got it like worse than Black people, because you know, you're torn between citizens who are Latinos, DACA who were promised citizenship, and then you have the illegal immigrants. Yes, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a fan of illegal immigration because it takes away from people who are trying to do things the right way. And so, so what we have to do is we have to create remedy in order to combat that. And that's like finding more immigration attorneys, immigration judges, immigration lawyers, and stuff like that, so we can fast forward that process. And also these people who were promised citizenship through that DACA program, we got to get them their citizenship too, because it's only fair they were promised that. And also we have to find a way to get the Latino communities from that limbo to the next step up. You know what I'm saying? Which is creating businesses that can turn into corporations, so you guys can help the Latino community build. You know what I'm saying? Creating pathways so we can start to integrate the Latino communities into more affluent communities like, you know, Beverly Hills, Calabasas, places where you wouldn't normally see it, so where people would look at it sideways like, oh, y'all don't belong here because you Black or Latino. You know what I'm saying? So the struggle that the Latino community has is the same struggle that the Black community has. It's just y'all is a little worse. But I mean, my goal is to figure out a way to bridge that gap so we can all move forward on the same token, you know.
No, exactly.
But it all starts with connecting. So if the Latino don't know me, I can connect with the Latino community. I mean, we're running ads in I'm learning my Spanish. I can say the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish and stuff. I know nobody want to hear that, but
there you go.
I can do it. But it's about making a connection, in my opinion.
No, definitely. I think it's a big part of voting. I said in a video I made the other day, Latinos are going to be the biggest non-white voting bloc for 2020 in the presidential election. And I noticed that a lot of Latinos are waking up because they're voting with their values. When you like you said, when you lay it in that way where you're like, come on, man, abortion, all these other things, all of a sudden they start to think to themselves, you know what, you're right. And then you got faces like you, that people that they know that they can connect with, they're like, okay, it's not the suit and tie. So, yeah, I think that's awesome, bro. I think that's definitely awesome. Go ahead, Dino.
I mean, you're right about that, too. I'm going to tell you this. Like, people think that the Latino community is stupid, just like they think that Black people are stupid. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, the reason why they say that is because you don't find a lot of Latinos, like, defending themselves by what people say about them. They're like, well, whatever. And they going about their business. But they don't know, like, that stuff people say, it's like, it affects you. It affects you in a certain way. And if, like a lot of Latinos, just like a lot of Black people, regardless if they want to believe it or not, like we have a lot of conservative values. Like you said, we're against abortion. We like our religion. We like to live our lives without the interference of the government. We like our guns. We like to make our own money. We like to start our businesses. We like big families and stuff like that. Like these are all conservative values, but you see these people, they talk trash to us like we dumb. Like, oh, y'all never gonna be this. Y'all never gonna be that. Y'all ain't this, yada, yada. And it's like, we are the hardest working people in this entire United States. Like the United States was built off the backs of Latinos, and it was built off the backs of black people. Because of what people don't understand is the same time that black people were going through slavery, Latinos, Mexicans were going through slavery at the same time. That's why we had that Mexican-American War. You know what I'm saying? They were enslaving Mexicans, and they was putting them with the same tribes as the Indians because they look so similar. So the struggle is real for everybody. And they think we stupid. They think we don't know. And they think that our voices is not being heard. But when President Trump got elected and they saw like the people, the amount of Hispanics or the amount of Latinos and Mexicans that voted for the president of the United States, the amount of black people that voted for the president of the United States, it's like they ain't so dumb. They voting based on values, and that's what we have to continue to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We all agree with that, because at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying. What we tell people is to think for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Use their own. Look, we never tell somebody who to vote for, what to vote for. We hope they vote for Trump or hope they vote red. But the thing is, we want people to actually use their own brain, right, and make their own decisions, and come up to the conclusion who they want to vote for based on the morality, the issues, and whatnot. So awesome, brother. It's amazing to hear you say this. It's refreshing. Real quick, we're finna wrap it up, but right now the floor is yours. What do you want to tell the people that are listening right now? What's your message for everybody listening right now, as far as what you're standing for, what you're hoping for in the future, and what your overall game plan is at this current moment, brother?
So my message to everybody is, do not be afraid to vote for something new. Like, you got a voice. Your voice can be heard, and let your voice be heard. That's just like if somebody slap you in the face, are you gonna sit there and take it? Like, absolutely not. But the current status that we're in right now, you're being slapped in the face, you're being slapped, you're being punched in the face, and you're not doing anything about it. The way we do something about it is let our voice be heard. Let's get out to the ballot box. Let's vote for people who we feel is going to, make our lives better, add value to our lives. And people who are going to have the most opportunity, something new, somebody young. And if you are young, don't be afraid to get out and take a stance like the young brothers on this call right here. You got to do it, because at the end of the day, it's one thing to complain about something, but if you can complain without a solution, you might as well move to another country, because we're at the point where we cannot have any more complainers. We need people who are going to stand up. We need people who are going to do something about the issues that you currently have. And at the end of the day, regardless, even if you like Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, they're in their 70s. They ain't gonna be around for a long time. So who they gonna pass the baton to? Who's gonna take the baton? That's us, the people who are gonna be here for the longest amount of time. And I'm not a big fan of Barack Obama, but I'm gonna tell you, in that last speech, he said the best. He said this: the people who are in office right now, they thought they had all ideas and they thought they knew what they were doing, but they don't. And a lot of people think that he was taking a shot at President Trump, but he wasn't. He was taking a shot at every single age politician that's been in office, from Nancy Pelosi all the way to Chuck Schumer. So it's up to us to stand up and start taking charge of the country that we're going to be living in for the longest time.
Yeah, we totally agree. Go ahead, brother Jesse.
Yeah, I just want to say, tell all our followers that Lexit, we endorse Joe, man. We got to put him in. We got to get wicked, evil Maxine out of there. She ain't done nothing. Cause I'm over here in LA too. She ain't done nothing for us over here, or Latinos. In your area, there's a lot of Latino population over there. So we just want to tell all of our people to vote for Joe. Lexit is endorsing him, and donate, help his campaign, and just push it, share this, just get the word out. Go ahead, A-Rod.
Yeah, so brother, where can people donate? Because I know people should donate everywhere. You guys, doesn't matter. You don't have to be in this brother's district. All over the United States, donate. When the more money you got coming in, the more this brother can push his message out there. So where can they donate, brother?
Yeah, the website right there, JoeCollinsForCongress.com. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you donate money to me right now, the majority of the money that we're getting, we're sending it out to organizations that have been taking care of the community, taking care of the homelessness. So that's where all the money is going right now, hands down. So any dollars that you send me, that's where it's going. We got to take care of our own community. We did a community event the other week, and we gave away tacos to everybody that was in the district, as well as food and sanitation. I'm always on Central and Western, so pull up on me. I'm there all the time. I just popped up my office in South Central Los Angeles on 104th and Western. We're doing renovations, but I mean, I'm always in the hood. So Make sure you go to joecounselcongress.com, follow us, donate. We're going to get all that money. If you donate, it's going right back to the communities.
Aren't you guys having an event pretty soon or something like that, Joe?
Yeah, so for our office launch, June 19th, we're going to have all the food trucks propped up. The campaign's going to pay for it. We're going to have a good time. Come out. It's going to be free. Just come hang out with me for a little bit. If you got questions, we can debate. We can do whatever it is that you want to do. If you got issues, we're going to have all that stuff. It's going to be on 104th and Western. We're going to be posting the event on the website within the next couple of days, but it's going to be great. So our campaign office launch. Make sure you bring your mask, be safe, social distance. We're going to have hand sanitizers, all the cleanliness and all the other stuff too.
Awesome. Right. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, brother. You know what I mean? We'll be praying for you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless.
It was an honor. God bless, Joe.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
Vote Joe Collins, everybody.
Vote. Go out and vote.
So now we're about
so, brother, yes. You know what? So I encourage everybody to go vote. I'm going to tell you why, because I work for the city. And I'm going to explain something to you. The majority of the roads that we work on and that get done and have first priority, they usually go to council members. So you guys I encourage everybody to go out there and vote and let your presence be known, because you know what? If you want your roads, your freeways, your community picked up, it's brother like him, like Joe gets done, because you know what? President Trump, like he said, he's doing his job, but what comes down to doing it locally is brothers like Brother Joe.
Hey, can I say something real quick, guys? I jumped out. I know what we're doing. Look, guys, I got to tell you, we got to support Joe, everybody. And I ain't talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden for the early retirement home, everybody. Joe Collins for the 43rd district of South L.A. I mean, this guy is in the hood. He just told you, look, I can respect that. Y'all know how I do it. I'm in the hood. And, you know, I'm just a regular patriot. This guy's in the hood pushing conservative values, right? And he's doing it